Hi, everyone. Thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 13. I'm Not Acting Crazy with You Tonight. What's crazy is that they try to sell this show tonight as an episode. It really didn't do anything, it was just boring. They revisit places that reminded them of their childhood, or they wrote a letter to their former self, and not much went on at all. The first couple is Nicole and Chris. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you really what went on with them. Nothing to really even talk about at all. Um, they went to an Italian deli that represents her Italian past, and his dad owned a paint shop. They went to a paint store. They did some painting. He talked about his dad, visiting his dad every other weekend, um, and getting closer to his dad through his dog. And not really much happened with them. I'm telling you, it was rather boring. The next couple will be Gina and Clint. Basically, here we see that Gina's whole life is her hair salon, going to a hair school is where she took Clint, where she went before she became a beautician and owning her own salon. Everything is surrounded by this hair salon and her being a stylist. They had a dinner party where she brought her three friends, which were three stylists from her salon. Everything about her is salon, 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 and uh, it does make for her as a boring person. There's nothing else in her life that she can share. Clint, we didn't learn much about him other than he was a pilot and he changed his career into tech. That's what we learned about him. I think Gina's just there, so she doesn't get fined type of vibe. She's just smiling for the camera. I don't really see her giving too much. Uh, and in turn, she really isn't giving too much. They're really boring. Okay, on to the next couple. Okay, the next couple will be Jasmine and Airris. Jasmine has a friend over and they're discussing her relationship, and she's telling her friend that she's not feeling secure with Airris. She says that Airris needs to put in more, and he does. And now you see Jasmine, she reminds me of a deflated balloon. The life is just slowly coming out of her. She just seems like she's hanging her head low. She isn't bright, and like her face is not happy bright. It's just not. She just seems like she's falling in a hole, and I hate to see that for her. And Airris, he believes he's trying to open up to her. That's what he's telling us. That he's trying to go deeper. They went to a baseball card shop. That's something he liked to do as a kid. That's how he made friends. Um, you know, I don't know. Maybe it does seem like he's trying, but it might be a little too late. And where does he really want to go with this relationship? You didn't seem interested in her, and she wanted to work on intimacy, but you said no sex before decision day. I think they're just in a weird place. He is trying. He reads a letter that his father wrote to his mother, and it talked about him. I guess they were separated, and he was trying to get back to his family or be in his son's life. And the letter is something that he took a picture of on his phone, and he reads it from time to time, and he read it to her, and that was his way of getting vulnerable and going deeper with her. She was listening and whatnot, but I think because how he's made her feel, she didn't seem to feel it like I think she would have, um, if they weren't in such an awkward place. So, this episode didn't do much. Um, Hopefully it'll just get better. I just don't even know what to say about it. It was really nothing really to report. Not too many highs, just it was a lot of dullness. That's what it was. Okay, on to the last couple. Okay, the last couple will be Shaquille and Kirsten. Kirsten takes Shaquille to a home where I guess she's showing the home. She's a real estate agent. So he's over there to see what she does, and she shows off this beautiful home to him. And it was absolutely beautiful. In fact, it was $2.9 million. And she kept dropping hints how she could see their kids running around there. She wants him to buy her a home. And then he caught on to that. You want me to buy you a home? Or you want us to build and save and we buy a home together? She really wants him to buy her a home, and she just wants her name on the deed. This is just who she is, and she says as much. So when a person tells you who or what they are, believe them. She's a gold digger. She's just materialistic. She does take Shaquille to her childhood home, and she told us that her parents split when she was 8. We find out that Shaquille still hasn't met her father, so he hasn't met his father-in-law. I think he had an issue. He was being very stubborn. I see where she gets it. He was very stubborn not coming to the wedding because he didn't want to get, a test for the the panty. He didn't want to do the test, and then so he couldn't come to the wedding. And I guess he's just down the street. So she's big upping her dad, talking about how he bought the home for the family. He was a very good provider, and you could just tell that she was trying to let him know, this is what my dad has done, and you need to do, something similar to what her dad has done. She also said something like, her dad bought the house. She tells him this, that her dad bought the house and that he didn't have to be told to do it. What? She is, ooh. Read in between the lines. She's telling you over and over again what kind of person she is. And Shaq is not the kind of person she's talking about. She thinks she could just run all over that man. They go out to dinner with, it looks like his godmother and sister, and he talks about his accident that he was in, how he was thrown from the car, and he was tied up in barbed wire. That sounds so painful. And just imagine you being touching barbed wire, being tied up in barbed wire. And imagine a child being wrapped up in barbed wire. He was taken to the hospital. They were all separated. There was his mother and several of his siblings. And they didn't see or hear from one another for 2 weeks. People in the hospital or whoever would not tell him how his other family members were doing. You're a child in the hospital and you see no family members for 2 weeks. You don't know if they're dead or alive. That is cruel. Ugh. The godmother gave Kirsten some advice. She said, take care of Shaquille and he'll take care of you, because apparently he's like he's like the patriarch of the family. He gets them together. He keeps them going, staying connected, and he has a lot to do on his plate, and he manages to find time for everyone and their needs. So she was saying, if you want to help him, take care of him. Yeah, I like to see how she's going to do that. Uh, I just, I don't know if I really see effort on her part in the relationship. She's the one, she's just the receiver. She's just the receiving partner and he's the giving partner. And she needs to give back to him in some way, form, or fashion. They did have a group scene, and they went to paintball. Now, the group scene was only the two couples, Shaquille and Kirsten, and Airris and Jasmine. It looked like they were having fun, and we know uh, Kirsten is in her element. She's very real competitive. They were shooting around that paintball, having a good time. And after it ended, Airris and Kirsten were talking, and Jasmine and Shaquille were talking. And she kind of confided in Shaquille how she was feeling about their relationship. And he was basically telling her not to lose herself, that she's beautiful, that he wasn't hitting on her. He just wanted to let her know, know your worth. And uh, I guess basically in a nutshell, don't just accept anything. And then Airris and, what's her name, Kirsten, got together and they were talking. Imagine if these two were matched from the beginning. Talk about slow moving turtles. They just talk so slow. It would have been so boring. They just both seem lifeless. Um, After they had their paintball session, Shaquille and Kirsten were back at their apartment, and they were joking around. Well, he didn't want to joke around. He wanted to talk about this house situation, about how he is expected to provide, for a $2.9 million home, because she says all her friends, their husbands give them things like that. She's always trying to he's feeling the pressure and of her expectations of what he has to do for her, to make her happy, to make her stay, because she's been giving these hints all the time. Uh, I think she loves that he's a doctor. That's status for her. You make this money, you buy me a home, because she's going to be pushing out the babies. I think he's telling her he's feeling pressure. She really doesn't want to talk about this. She's joking, and he doesn't want to joke about this. And he reminds her of going back to the honeymoon where he was being jokey. And she says there's a time to be serious and a time to joke around. And he wanted to talk about it, go deeper on this, because he wants her to know he feels pressure for her, these expectations. She's trying to say, she was only kidding. They'll buy a home for what they're approved of, not 2.9 million. But she's disappointed. She's telling him this because this is what she really wants. There is real pressure here, and she's not trying to really alleviate any of this pressure from this man. So is she good enough for him? I don't know. I don't think she's not good enough for him. And maybe he'll open his eyes and realize that. Um, Because I don't know, I don't see her changing. But they were the most, what happened in the episode that was interesting was pretty much their scenes. But that's it for now. Thank you for staying with me to the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. But I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.